What is going on, everybody? I am the FDGURU, bringing to you guys a Thursday NBA edition of my DFS podcast. We have 8 games on the main slate tonight. Looks like a really good slate, in my opinion. Not a ton of injury news like yesterday. Unfortunately, we ran into a couple of gross blowouts on last night's slate. Still ended up profiting, cashing in tournaments with the GPP and hybrid lineup, and then cashing the after-hours slate as well off of the Dub Club. So it could have been a lot better if we got more run out of, Mike Connolly and Amir Coffey in that last game, but it was like a 30 to 40 point blowout. Nothing you can do about that. As usual, I'm going to give you guys 5 value plays in this video. Drop a like, subscribe, and let's have a great night tonight. We also have Thursday Night Football, one of the best games, or projected to be one of the best games of the year. 51 over-under with the the Lions and the Packers. 3-point spread should be an awesome game to watch. I'm excited for that one. And get over to my Twitter. I am going to be giving a free month to everyone of one of my products. I haven't released it yet, but once we hit 100 likes on Twitter on this post, I will drop a free month to everyone. So a huge promotion there. Definitely get over there and try to get that to 100. So let's get into our value plays here today. I said earlier there's not a ton of injury news to wait on. I'll just touch upon what we are waiting on. Najee Marshall is questionable, but the Mavs are fully healthy. Don't really care about that. Malcolm Brogdon questionable for the Wizards. That could end up mattering because you do have, George, Kispert, and Kuzma out. So if Brogdon were to miss 2, might change some stuff. I don't expect it to make a huge difference. LaMelo Ball remains out for the Hornets. Grady Dick and Jakob Poeltl are both questionable for the Raptors. That could end up mattering. Kevin Durant, as we know, is going to be out for a little bit with an ankle. So we might see like Royce O'Neal slide into that starting lineup or Okoro. Either way, nothing really catches my eye there for value. Probably the biggest piece on tonight's slate, Josh Giddey is questionable for the Bulls. We already have Kobe White out, so Dosunmu already looks good. If Giddey were to get ruled out, I don't even know what they would do. We'd have to figure things out there. Wembanyama ruled out tonight. That's going to make a difference in this video for my value plays. That Bulls and Spurs game looks like an awesome DFS game, arguably the best game on the slate. Competing with the Kings and the Grizzlies. That's got a 241 over-under, 3.5 point spread. We have Zach Edey out for the Grizzlies, remaining out. But both teams are basically healthy. And then the late game. Rockets and Warriors looks like a really good game for value because Steph Curry and Draymond Green have already been ruled out. We're going to be waiting on Fred VanVleet and Andrew Wiggins. We're not going to get that news most likely before lock, but value still looks great even not knowing the news of those guys. We'll get into that as well. But for point guard, we're going to take advantage of this Victor Wembanyama news. Chris Paul, 6,200. He's projected for 34, 35 fantasy points tonight. He needs just 31 to hit value. He looks like a great value play. Should be a tight game, high scoring against the Bulls. Chris Paul's been tough this year because his minutes are tough to judge. If he has like a ceiling minutes game, it's around like the last 2 games, 31, 33. And then he can play as little as, 24, 25 minutes, especially if the game isn't close. But I do expect this game to be close. I expect Chris Paul to have a lot of usage with Wembanyama off the court. And the matchup couldn't be any better against the Bulls, one of the worst defenses in the league. And they play at a top pace in the NBA, resulting in a high over-under. Spurs are 2-point favorites in this game. Really, really like this game. Last time Wembanyama missed, I don't know why FanDuel changed his price to $3,500. It's stupid. No one's going to pick him no matter what. Last time he missed was a 3-game stretch from the 16th of November to the 21st. Chris Paul, he played 29, 25, and 31 minutes and looked pretty good. So I do expect him to play at least 28 minutes tonight with a chance of playing, somewhere between 31 and 33 minutes like we saw over the last 2 games. I do like Chris Paul. You could maybe keep him out of a GPP lineup because he hasn't really shown a high ceiling this year, but looks like a great cash game play to get over 30 fantasy points at point guard. Shooting guard, we're going to take advantage of this Warriors depleted team with no Draymond Green and no Steph Curry. I really like Brandon Podziemski. He started last time Steph Curry was out. 5,500. His price has gone up, but it's still too cheap in my opinion. He's projected for 30 fantasy points tonight in a great matchup against the Rockets. This game has a 4-point spread in the Rockets' favor. 219 over-under isn't anything crazy, but, with certain guys out for the Warriors, there's a lot of value that we can't really ignore. Last time Steph Curry missed was on the 27th, so just a couple games ago. On the 27th, we saw Podziemski play 29 minutes and get 30 fantasy points. 33 minutes the next game with Curry back, and he got 31, and then 24 minutes and 28 fantasy points last game with Curry playing. So they're making it... It looks like Steve Kerr is putting Podziemski at the top of the list in terms of these utility players for the Warriors. I just can't get on the train of Moses Moody, Buddy Hield, Lindy Waters. These guys are just, you can't trust them. They don't play as much minutes as Podziemski. Buddy Hield, last time Curry was out, played 23 minutes, barely scraped for value because he got 17 points. He's a guy that really relies on scoring the ball to get fantasy points, and that's not a good formula for DFS because you need guys who contribute on defense and rebounds and assists. Don't like Hield, and I don't really like Moses Moody either. Just very hard to trust with his minutes. Podziemski at 5,500 looks like one of the best plays on the slate. As I said earlier, he's projected for 30 plus fantasy points, so really like him against the Rockets. Small forward, we're going to stick with the Warriors. Borderline a better play, maybe the best play on the slate. I was all over him last slate, was a reason why we cashed out, and that's Jonathan Kuminga. $5,800. His price went up a couple $100, but with no Draymond Green, it's not expensive enough. And then obviously with Steph Curry now out, the usage only goes up for all of these Warriors guys. We saw him start with Draymond Green out, played 28 minutes, looked really good. Again, the only downside in these value plays for the Warriors is we are trusting a Steve Kerr rotation, which can get so wonky whether you start or not. If your name is not Draymond Green or Steph Curry, you are live to come out sluggish and not play as many minutes as you should. I would say Kuminga's pretty close to a Steph Curry and Draymond Green level at this point where his minutes are pretty solidified, but you never know. Regardless, I'm willing to take that risk. I think Kuminga looks really good and live to play 30, maybe even more than 30 minutes tonight against the Rockets with no Draymond Green yet again, because we just can't trust guys like Kevon Looney, who got inserted into the starting lineup last game. With a matchup against Alperen Şengün, they're probably going to pick Looney again for the defense to start because Trayce Jackson-Davis hasn't looked great, and Kerr does not like playing Jackson-Davis. He has to scrape to get even 20 minutes in a game, even with Draymond Green out. But for small forward, he can play power forward as well. Jonathan Kuminga looks good at sub 6K. He's projected for 32 fantasy points. He needs just 29 to hit value. For the front court of the lineup, we're going to spend up here. Went middle tier for the first 3 plays. Domantas Sabonis looks great against the Grizzlies. This might be the best DFS game on the slate. My favorite games on the slate for DFS are the last 3 games. The Rockets at the Warriors, Bulls at the Spurs, and the Kings at the Grizzlies. High over-unders in these 2 games here. I like Sabonis a bunch at 9,300. I think in this matchup against the Grizzlies, he should be closer to 10K. He's projected for 47 fantasy points. He needs 46 to hit value. He looks like a really safe option tonight. Before last game against the Rockets, he had hit value in 6 straight games. He has a very high floor. Even on a bad game, he's probably going to still get you high 30s, even like he did last game. So I really like Sabonis at power forward tonight at this price. I think it's a very fair price for him. And I think this game is going to be an absolute shootout with an over-under of 241.5. Sabonis looks really good as a spend-up. Maybe my favorite spend-up on the slate. Next to Şengün. I had mentioned with Kevon Looney possibly starting for a matchup thing like he did last game. Şengün should be over 9K. He's projected for 48 fantasy. He's projected for about the same amount as Sabonis, and he's $500 cheaper. And I like Sabonis at 9,300. So that makes Şengün even a better value play tonight. 8,800. He needs 43 or 44 fantasy points to hit value. He has been cooking. He's hit value in 4 straight games, 3 of those 4 games over 50 with a 66 in there. You have a Warriors team without Draymond Green in the front court. So you got guys like Kevon Looney and Trace Jackson Davis responsible for slowing down Şengün tonight. I don't think it's going to happen. Şengün looks like not only one of the best value plays on the slate, but a top spend-up option at only 8,800 when he's projected for 47 fantasy points. That'll do it for this video, guys. Let's have a big Thursday night, both in the NBA world and the NFL Thursday night football game. Again, like that tweet. Let's get to 100 so I can drop that free month for everyone tonight before the football and NBA games start. Until next time, I am the FD Guru. Peace.